Bubble Busters!
I'm Bruno. I'm just a regular office worker. One day after work, I got a text from a friend back in high school. Bruno! I've been meaning to tell you this, but your girl has terrible taste in clothes. What was her name? Jane, right? What's your problem? I saw you two the other day. I'd be so embarrassed to be seen with someone like that. Just saying. She's always wearing the same clothes, right? You talking about last weekend? Why didn't you say anything? Why would I? I wouldn't want to be seen with you. Her clothes were so old and dirty. And she probably has holes in her shoes. And she's always wearing the same crap. What's this got to do with you? And she never wears makeup. And her hair is always messed up. Does she even have a job? I bet she doesn't. She's got a job. She works at a tech firm. Not sure where, though. She's lying to you, dude. Just dump her already. Cut your losses and move on. Actually, I just asked her to marry me the other day. She's gonna give me her answer this weekend. Just take it back. She's trouble. Wake up, man. You can do much better than her. You should go out with a pretty girl, like mine. She looks good all the time. She only wears designer clothes, and she's always trying out new makeup and stuff. You should get a girl like that, man. That's fine and all, but I'm good with Jane. I love her. Whatever. Don't say that I didn't warn you. He was right, though. She was always wearing the same clothes. I loved her for who she was, so I didn't really care, but I was starting to wonder why she was like that. That weekend, she asked me to meet me at a house I've never been to before.
Over here!
What is this place? This is a really nice neighborhood.
Yeah, sorry for the late response. Before I say anything, I gotta tell you something.
What?
This is my parents' house.
What? This place is huge.
You never heard of Travis Hotel?
Of course I have. I always use it on business trips.
My dad is the owner. I work for him. I'm sorry I never told you.
I see. This is a lot to process.
I work for the IT department right now, but I want to learn more about the business. Someday, I wish to become the next CEO.
I see. But wait. If your family is rich...
Yeah?
Why are you always wearing the same clothes?
You noticed.
Yeah. It looks pretty worn out, too. Don't get me wrong. I still love you, but just curious.
Well, I got a few reasons. You know Steve Jobs, right? He has multiple pairs of the same clothes, and that's what he wears. So I decided to try it myself.
Why?
When I started working, I spent time and money on clothes and makeup, but work was just so much fun, and I realized it was a waste of time to worry about clothes and makeup. Then I read an article about him, and...
I see.
Yep. Then I learned all kinds of things about him. He's the person I admire the most right now. But you're right, my clothes are pretty dirty. I'll get new ones.
I had no idea. I thought you were broke or something.
Back then, Mom and Dad used to buy me nice clothes, but whenever people found out about my parents, they tried to befriend me for the money, and I hated that. So, I stopped wearing nice clothes, and then I met you, and, well, you know the rest.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the real me. Will you still marry me?
Of course.
Okay then, let's go say hi to my parents. They're waiting for us in the house.
What? Now? I'm not even dressed properly. And so, we got married and lived happily ever after. I was surprised to find out about her family business, but that didn't change anything between us. But she did get new clothes after a little talk. Troublebuster. Oh, and my friend who said all those mean things about Jane. Yo, I heard you actually married her. Sucks for you, man. Hey, I'm getting married too, by the way. Congrats. Yeah, but the thing is, she wants to have our wedding abroad, and it's getting really expensive, so can I borrow some cash? You serious? No. I asked my parents, but they told me to save up some money first or do it in the country. They wouldn't lend me any money. They're right. Save up some money first. But if I say that, she'll leave me. Please, all my cards are maxed out. I can't borrow any more cash from the banks. I'm broke from buying her all kinds of designer clothes and designer bags. Wait, you're in debt? You sure about this girl? Yes, she loves me. I'll do anything for her. Okay, good luck, I guess. I'm not lending you any money, though. Let me guess, your girlfriend doesn't work. You gotta provide for her, don't you? That's why you can't lend me any money. Actually, no. She actually makes more money than I do. Plus, her family is loaded. What? For real? Can you ask her if she can lend me some money then? Seriously? After all those things you said about her? Give me a break. You're such a leech. I blocked him after that, and when his girlfriend found out that he couldn't afford her dream wedding, she dumped him. He was all alone now, and still up to his neck in debt. Trouble Buster.
My name is Sandy. I live with my 3-year-old son Ken and my husband John. Our house is located in between our parents. The distance between our home and my husband's parents are about the same. Perhaps his parents' house is a little closer. My mother and my mother-in-law both dote on their first grandson Ken. Hi, Sandy. I want to go buy Ken's summer clothes this weekend. Can you and Ken come with me? Ken must have started to wear summer clothes by now, right? He is growing up so fast, so his clothes must be getting too small. Hi, Belle. Yeah, we are free this weekend. You're right, he has started to wear his summer clothes, but he doesn't have enough. Like you said, some clothes are too small for him, and he has ruined his others. That's a good thing. Boys are boys, you know. Soon you'll have different trouble. Clothes will fit him, but be too dirty to wear. No, I don't want that. I don't want to sound stingy, but I don't like the sound of that. That is every boy's mom's fate. Can't be helped. Yeah. By the way, as we are going to the mall to get his clothes, why don't we have something to eat at our place on the way home? Is that all right? My pleasure. I only ever eat with my husband. It's kind of quiet, so please. Thank you so much. We will come to yours then. You are more than welcome. What does Ken like to eat? He eats almost anything, but not shellfish. He is allergic. No crabs, shrimps, not even crab sticks. Sandy, are you letting him be so picky about his food? You must make him eat the food he doesn't like, too. Having an allergy and being picky are completely different. He is only 3, and when you're as small as him, he can get a severe reaction. You make it sound like shellfish are poisonous. For Ken, they are. So please don't give him any shellfish. Okay, I'll think about it. I'll think about it? What is there to think about? Allergies are not the same as being picky. My mother-in-law invites us for meals quite a lot because my father-in-law is so quiet. That is great, but she thinks an allergy is just being picky with food. So every opportunity she gets, she tries to make my son eat shellfish. It's exhausting to keep an eye on his food, to make sure she's not trying to feed him shellfish. The meal we're invited this time is the same. Half of me was happy, but the other half was dreading it. We finished shopping quickly before Ken started to misbehave, so we left the mall. You can relax while I prepare the meal, Sandy. Oh, no, I can't just let you do that. No, don't worry. You can play with Ken instead. Well, thank you. If you insist, but still, please don't use any crab, shrimp, or shellfish. Yes. Ugh, you really are soft on him. It really is not about being soft. It's my responsibility as a mother to keep him safe, as he is too young to know about these things. You are overprotective. You can let him be. He is a boy. In fact, I did that to my son John, and he grew up fine, didn't he? John and Ken are different. John has no allergies, does he? I was worried about leaving my mother-in-law alone to prepare the meal, but I heard Ken calling me, so reluctantly I left the kitchen to see him. Later, I regret this so bitterly. What my mother-in-law made was Ken's favorite food, dumplings. As Ken saw the dumplings with green peas, which he eats all the time, on a big plate, he was very excited. We managed to make him take his seat, and we started eating. I checked the dumplings to see if it was a meat and not a shellfish dumpling before putting it on his plate. For a while, everything went smoothly, but after about 30 minutes...
Mommy, my throat is itchy.
Your throat? Let me see. It doesn't look like anything is wrong. Still itchy?
Yeah?
He seems to be irritated and scratching himself, so I thought it was because we made him try on many clothes earlier. Then, out of the blue, my father-in-law pulled up Ken's top with a furious expression on his face.
Oh!
We gasped at the sight of his back, covered in a rash. After seeing Ken's back, my father-in-law left the room without a single word, but I was panicking. Ken!
Mommy, itchy!
He started to cry, and the rash was spreading all over his face. What is this? He looks like a toad. Oh, I only put a little bit in his rice. Looking like a toad? It's a rash! Put a little bit in his rice? Yes, I wanted to teach him not to be picky, so I sprinkled a little bit of crab seasoning on his rice. How dare you! What? You can't talk to me like that!
Sandy, an ambulance is coming. Take Ken to the emergency room. I'll talk to her.
Oh!
I'm sorry. She's such an idiot.
When he apologetically patted Ken's head, who by this time was crying and struggling to breathe, the doorbell rang, and we got in the ambulance and left for the hospital. There, the doctor told me because my father-in-law called the ambulance straight away, Ken's condition wasn't life-threatening. I felt so relieved. Instead, however, my anger turned its attention toward my mother-in-law.
Sandy! Is Ken okay? Sandy, how's Ken doing?
My in-laws and John came to the hospital later. Thanks to your father calling the ambulance quickly, plus the small amount he ate, his condition was not life-threatening. He's on a drip and sleeping right now.
Thank God. I'm so very sorry. You don't need to apologize. You're the one who called the ambulance so quickly, so thank you!
John's right. What about me? I was only trying to teach him not to be picky. I don't care if she is my mother-in-law. I will make her regret what she has done. She almost killed her own grandson. Trouble buster! Teaching him not to be picky on his food, huh? So, you almost killed him, but you did it for him? What in the world? You obviously are a strict grandmother. Parents today are too soft on their kids. We are not being soft. How many times did we say he has an allergy? That's just an excuse for parents so they don't have to discipline whiny kids. What in the world are you talking about? You should learn how to raise a child from the beginning. But then, there is no need anymore. You will have nothing to do with any kids anymore. Huh?
I want a divorce. I cannot live with someone who nearly killed my beloved grandson. As long as you are here, Ken can't visit us without worrying.
What? How can you be so heartless? He's not being heartless. Don't you realize the severity of what you've done? This is an attempted murder! Attempted murder! You deliberately mixed the crab seasoning in his rice. If Ken had died, it would have been murder. You would have been arrested.
Mom, I don't want anything to do with you anymore.
No.
The people I want to protect are Sandy and Ken. If you ever try to harm them again, I will not hesitate to stop you. I never want to see your face again. It's too late now for you to start realizing the enormity of what you've done.
I did a terrible thing. I'll never do it again. So, honey, Sandy and John, please don't cut me off.
John, you're on Sandy and Ken's side, right? Yeah. How about you, Dad? I will file for divorce and leave home. Are you the one who's going to leave home? Then why don't you live with us?
What?
I don't want to impose on you. You're no spring chicken. It will be difficult for you to rent an apartment and live on your own. We have a fairly big spare room on the first floor that we don't use. It's big enough for Dad to move in.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Well, if you insist. I'll clear up the room as soon as we get home.
Thanks. I will stay with Ken tonight in the hospital.
Got it.
My mother-in-law was so shocked that her husband is divorcing her, and her son is cutting any ties with her. She just stood there and listened to our conversation in dismay. She was dragged out of the hospital by my husband and father-in-law. The next day, my father-in-law took the divorce papers to the relevant authorities, which his wife had to sign without choice. John and my father-in-law completely blanked out my crying mother-in-law as he finished packing and moved into our house. Ken left the hospital the next day. He was so active, so it was harder for me to calm him down after the boredom of hospital. When we got home, Ken's grandpa was there, and he played with him happily. He seems to be very happy living in the same house with his grandson. Even though Ken tires him out by the end of every day, they are always playing together. About my mother-in-law. She is getting older living in the big house alone, but I could not care less about a woman who nearly killed my beloved son. Trouble Busters! Have you ever heard of aquagenic urticaria? I, Jessica, was found allergic to water since I was a baby and have been in hospital's care since then. As of right now, there is no cure for this disease. Taking a bath or going in a pool is a no-go, let alone sweat or even cry. Contact with water causes red hives, swelling, and great pain. In order to prevent swelling, I need to always stay in a controlled, cooled room. I studied illustration, thinking it was the only job I could do from home. Luckily, I was able to get that job, and am now making a living as a professional illustrator. I was also able to find myself an amazing husband who worked in the same industry. He's kind of weird in that he doesn't seem to care too much about the fact that I can't go outside or that I can't deal with water. So we were spending our happy lives together as family. Until I received a message from my mother-in-law.
Jessica, why is my son saying he won't come home for the holidays? You've been telling him something so he won't come, haven't you? I know what you are thinking.
Hello? I think I've told you 100 times why we aren't coming.
So, you've been telling him not to go hang out outside then. Don't you understand how much of a burden you are? He loves to play baseball outside.
Hello? Could you listen for once? I'm pretty sure Aaron has explained this, but I have aquagenic urticaria. Going outside is like going to war for me. And this isn't something to say out loud, but he isn't really the social type. The only time he goes outside is for grocery shopping, and he buys enough for a few days' worth. And about the baseball thing, that's when he was in primary school, isn't it?
I don't need you to tell me what Aaron is like. I'm his mother. I know everything about him. Besides, what is this aquagenic, whatever? There's no way you can be allergic to water. People didn't even have allergies in the first place back in my days. Eggs, flour, all this nonsense just so kids could get away without eating what they don't like.
Mad girlometer reaching 30%. It's real. It's really rare, so I can understand you. But I am truly in pain because of this allergy.
I'm telling you, allergies don't exist. They're a hoax. It's procedure effect. You're just imagining it.
You mean placebo effect?
Yeah, that. It's autocorrect doing its job. Are you a grammar Nazi now? Your parents really forgot to teach you how to talk to people with respect, didn't they? Being allergic to water is probably the same deal, isn't it? It's just you overreacting because you're too scared to put your face in water. Those lies won't work. I used to act weak too, just to attract the boys in class.
I'm not acting.
Then dump a bucket of water on yourself. I'll trust you only if your skin starts to react. I know Aaron doesn't like the hot weather we're currently having, but I'm expecting both of you to come for Christmas. Aaron's little sister is bringing her family, so you'd better not ruin this family reunion.
Mad girlometer reaching 60%. Oh, just messaging her is making me tired. I showed Aaron the entire conversation about how his mother is going to make me dump a bucket of water on my head. He got extremely mad and said,
What the heck? This isn't the Ice Bucket Challenge from 2014, damn it! She doesn't understand how allergies work, I guess. You can block her if you want.
But I couldn't do that. so I reluctantly decided to go to his house for Christmas. Christmas arrived. I was planning to make this a day trip, considering my condition, but my in-laws would make up many reasons to make me stay. Furthermore, it was barely a family reunion, considering Aaron's little sister's family didn't show up, so we got so tired after having to deal with the in-laws all day long. Eventually, it got dark, and even started snowing outside. Our car didn't have snow tires, so we had to stay overnight.
Jessica, the bath is ready. You can use it first.
No way! You really have ears of an octopus or something, don't you? I told you I'm allergic to water!
You're not gonna take a bath? Oh, what a stinky woman. What?
Stop it, Mom!
Mad girlometer reaching 90%. Aaron, I'm just gonna wipe my body. Could you prepare some wet towels for me?
Hey, don't push yourself. What if you get sick?
Well, I don't want to stink.
I see. Okay, I'll prepare the towels. So just wait in the change room.
So I went to the change room and wiped myself where I most often sweat. Just this is enough to feel pain. Suddenly, the door opened. Mother?
Wow, to think that you really hate taking a bath is just astounding. And you smell. The entire house is going to stink like you. Just get in the bathtub. I'm not going to baby you.
Ah! It hurts! I can't breathe! Aaron, help me! I need to dry myself!
What? What's going on? I know you're acting. Oh, her skin is growing red.
Jessica, what happened? Dad, call an ambulance!
Aaron immediately wiped my body as soon as he arrived. The ambulance arrived and I was taken to the hospital, but I was completely unconscious from the severe pain. When I woke up, I was on the hospital bed. Mad girlometer at 100%. To think she would take allergies so lightly, I'm not going to let her get away with this. Don't underestimate the power of homebodies. Trouble Busters!
Jessica, are you alright?
Yeah, it still stings, but it's getting better.
Hey, you apologize to Jessica right now! How could you do such a thing? Why don't you say something?
Allergies aren't real. I'm...
How can you say that in front of Jessica, who's in pain right now? And why did you keep me from knowing this? If I'd known, I definitely wouldn't have asked them to come to our place.
What do you mean?
Well, our daughter's family was supposed to show up today, but last month when they came, she fed the kid pudding.
Huh?
Even though the kid was allergic to eggs, making our granddaughter hospitalized, now our daughter-in-law.
I didn't know allergies cause these sorts of things. I really thought Jessica was lying about being allergic to water, and that you would be thinking the same thing. Same with our granddaughter.
You didn't even apologize when you hospitalized our granddaughter, saying the same thing. Do you still think your actions are justified? Mom, I'm going to cut ties with you. You don't know when to stop or learn, and you're putting my wife in danger. Screw you! You're unbelievable as a human being.
Cut ties. Aaron, please, I'll apologize to her, so forgive me, okay? I sometimes make mistakes too.
An apology is not enough. We'll pay for the treatments and consolation fees too. And I'm cutting ties with you too. We're over.
You're kidding.
You belittle life. I feel ashamed of not noticing this part of you. All of this to Jessica, Aaron, to our daughter, and our granddaughter.
Why? You don't mind me being all alone? I can't live like that. There's no way I'm gonna live in a small house all by myself.
I do think an elderly person living by herself isn't a good idea. But then again, I don't care. I don't care. Here,
Jessica, just stay put. Mom, after almost taking the lives of 2 innocent people, you really value yourself, huh? Just get out of this room. Don't ever show your face to me again. Ever!
And so, after paying for my medical treatment and consolation fees, my in-laws got divorced. By his sympathy, they actually split the estate in half. Apparently, losing ties with her entire family was a huge shock for her. She's now living in an apartment by herself, rarely ever going outside. And to think she was making fun of us homebodies. Erin and I, as always, are spending our time indoors. However, recently, Erin's family's come to visit us, and so we have a great time together. It feels like I have a new family. Now I spend every day of my life working and wondering when they will come visit us again. My name is Hillary. I'm a 22-year-old university student. I have a married sister who is 5 years older than me, and a baby brother called Andy, who is 4 years younger than me, so he is in high school. My sister lived with her husband and their daughter, Sally. Both me and my brother loved our niece so much. We got on well with our sister and brother-in-law, so we often went around there. I went there often more than my brother, as they wanted to talk to me about problems they had. It happened just 3 weeks before Sally started kindergarten, which she was very excited about. She was about to turn 4 when she passed away. After she passed away, I heard that she was born premature. It caused her to have a lot of problems with her heart and other organs. The doctor told her parents that she might not live long enough to go to the elementary school. My sister and brother-in-law, along with both their parents, treated her no differently to any other child, so both my brother and I didn't realize she was in such bad health. I promised her that I would buy her a cuddly toy of her favorite cartoon character when she started kindergarten, but I couldn't give it to her. My sister and brother-in-law knew it could happen, but when faced with such a tragic reality, it hit them hard, and my sister could not leave her bed for days. We had her funeral at the local community center. We planned to have the actual funeral on the first floor, and upstairs we served food and drinks in a reception area. It also had rooms for family members to stay overnight. My sister and brother-in-law were so deep in grief that they could not even greet the guests. When the guests started to come into the center to pay their respects, so we let them have a rest in the bedroom, and my brother and I greeted the guests. It's such a small coffin. Sally was small even compared to kids of her age.
God has no mercy. She was such a sweet and lovely girl.
I so wanted to see her in her new uniform for the kindergarten.
She would have looked so cute in it.
She was starting kindergarten from next month, and her uniform, 3 days before she passed, when she was in the critical condition, was delivered to her just past noon. Of course, she never got to wear it. We decided to put it right next to the coffin and bury it with Sally. Along with the uniform, her school bag, hat, and shoes were placed in the altar, as well as the toy I promised her. The altar was filled with Sally's items, and it brought me and my brother to tears. I don't know if it's because our sis is liked by so many people, or if Sally made a lot of friends in her short life, but so many people are coming.
It's nice of them, but I can't help thinking that Sally would want to run around with them, rather than them all being here like this. Going to kindergarten every day.
Let's not think about what she can't do anymore. She wouldn't want us to be sad.
You're right. Sis, you must be tired. Why don't you have a rest? I can take care of things here now.
You can't handle everything on your own.
I'll be alright.
It's been a long day, and if you stay here all night, you won't be able to stay awake tomorrow during the funeral. Wake me up in 3 or 4 hours so I can take your place, okay?
Okay. I'll wake you up in 4 hours then.
It's settled then. I will go upstairs and have a nap. If you need me, just wake me up, okay?
Don't worry. I can handle everything myself.
I stood up and began to go upstairs. My deepest condolences. I came here to pay my respects.
Well, thank you for coming.
I heard the news and came. Such a terrible thing. My daughter used to play with Sally in the park a lot, so I got to know her mom as well. I hoped from the bottom of my heart that Sally would make a full recovery. For you and your family, I can't even imagine how terrible this is. She claimed to be the mother of Sally's friend, who often played in the park. She wore expensive clothes, spoke gently, and was pretty. My daughter wanted to come here tonight with me, but I left work late, and it's too late for a young child to come in here now, so I completely understand. She is only young. It is too late for her to be going out. She finished what she had to say and stared at the altar, which was decorated with Sally's uniform, bag, shoes, and the toy. That uniform. May I have it? Huh?
What?
It's such a waste to bury it with her. My daughter is starting the same kindergarten, so we can keep it as something to remember her by. I don't quite understand what you mean. What I mean is that my daughter can wear it for Sally. She is prettier than Sally, so it will look better on her. I'm sure Sally would have wanted this. Honestly, it's an expensive uniform, and to think that would just turn into a pile of ash is shameful. Luckily, my daughter's about the same size as Sally. The shoes and hat, too. I will tell her not to waste things, so it will be a great real-life lesson for my daughter, too. So, can I have the uniform, shoes, hat, and the bag? Oh, and I almost forgot, the plush toy. My daughter can cherish the toy, too.
A real-life lesson? You're a monster disguised as a mother!
Don't talk nonsense. I'm so very compassionate. I'll tell you why. Ted promised me to give me the uniform, and he is going to move in with us after the whole business of Sally is settled. What in the world?
What the heck? How can I comprehend this?
While we were standing there, so stunned by what she had just said, she grabbed the uniform, shoes, bag, hat, and toy and tried to flee.
Andy, stop her!
Before I opened my mouth, Andy jumped on her and stopped her from escaping.
Let me go! Let go, you idiot! I said let go, damn it! This is my daughter's uniform now! Ted is mine now! If you don't let me go, I'll sue his butt off!
When I saw the crazy look on her face, I remembered something.
Trouble Busters!
I know you!
What?
You were friends with my sister at the beginning. You met through the kids. But as soon as you knew about my brother-in-law, you locked onto him. My sister told me that one of her friends was stalking them, and she was scared. So I contacted a lawyer I know for my sister.
A lawyer? What, that ugly wife of his was conspiring against me?
Actually, my brother-in-law insisted.
Liar! He has always been nice to me.
Why would he be horrible to you? He thought you were his daughter's friend's mom. He's a gentle person.
He was particularly nice to me. Let me see Ted. Then we can end all this nonsense.
Why would I ever do that? You are a stalker and a thief.
What are you talking about? My Teddy would never say things like that about me.
Later that night, she was taken away by the police on suspicion of theft. The theft charge, as it was only an attempted, didn't come as much of a big deal. But on the stalking charge, and because she had frightened my brother-in-law with her persistence, a restraining order was issued. Her parents, who live in a place so far that to go there you need to take a long flight, forced her to move back with them. They keep her under their watch now. She was a single mom, divorced 2 years ago. But because of the trouble she caused, her ex-husband took custody of their daughter, and she now has to work to pay the child maintenance fee.
Trouble Busters!
My name is Rachel. I am 25 years old and 9 months pregnant with my baby. This is my first baby, so I get nervous sometimes. But with my husband Jeff's huge support, I'm doing okay.
Rachel, how are you feeling?
You ask me this every day, but my answer is the same. I'm fine. It is my due date next month.
Do you think it's gonna be a girl or a boy?
Which one do you prefer?
Either is fine, as long as you and the baby are healthy.
Have you thought about the names yet?
Of course. If it's a girl, Lisa. If it's a boy, James.
Great names. I can't wait to see a healthy baby soon. At that time, we were an ordinary couple who were excited to have our first baby. Next month, I gave birth to a healthy baby girl right on my due day. We named her Lisa, picking the name from Jeff's list. As she was the first grandchild for both our families, she was very much loved and spoiled by her grandparents. When I first felt something strange about my daughter was around the times kids started to talk for the first time, from around 18 months to 2 years old. When I went to places like daycare centers, some kids would say the names of objects, and sometimes even more. Other kids would make 2-word questions, but Lisa didn't do any of this. She did not say words like mommy and daddy, or any other words with meanings. I thought there must be something seriously wrong. My husband Jeff thought so too. We both felt that there was something wrong. He looked up information on his phone sometimes and showed it to me.
Lisa doesn't talk, does she?
No, they say some kids are slow, but even so, other kids of her age talk so much. I think I'm going to take her to a specialist.
Specialist?
At that time, his facial expression changed. He was looking at her as if she was some kind of monster. I didn't like that.
Specialist in what? Is Lisa sick?
I don't know exactly, so I guess I will talk to the health authority for advice. I think she might have a learning or mental disability. If she does, it's better to find out about it sooner than later, so we can do everything we can to help her.
Huh? Disability? I can't have a disabled child.
I'm only talking about possibilities. She might just be a slow learner.
This is the worst.
His words really irritated me. What do you mean, worst?
I mean disabled.
She is your daughter, though.
I'll think about this if the specialist says she is.
What? Jeff! Jeff went to bed as if to say he did not want to talk about it anymore. I was angry and said that this was a side of him I had never seen. 2 days later, as it was Jeff's day off, we took Lisa to a specialist.
My diagnosis is, well, more precise test results will come in later, but your daughter most likely has some kind of mental disability.
I see. Will she ever be able to talk?
She makes sounds, so there's no problem with her vocal cords. It really depends on her development from here on, so I cannot say at this point.
You mean there is a possibility she will speak, right?
She might be able to attain the vocabulary range of a 2-year-old.
All right. While I was feeling a little relieved that she might have some ability to speak, Jeff, who was silent during the conversation with the doctor, opened his mouth.
Well, doctor, can you dispose of her?
Huh?
What?
I was stunned by the unbelievable words that Jeff uttered. So was the doctor. Not noticing our reaction, Jeff kept talking.
I don't want a child like this. I certainly don't want to raise her. So can you dispose of her, or, if you can't do that, put her in an institution or something? Either way, I want her out of my sight. Well, first of all, I can't do anything like that. So talk to your wife, and then contact the relevant authorities if you need to. Doc, can you not do anything? Surely there must be a way. I mean, anything? No.
I couldn't stop crying. Seeing me like this, the doctor asked Jeff to leave the room. He told me about various places I could contact, who help parents raise children with disabilities, such as counselors, specialists, and special schools.
Lisa is still very young, so how her abilities will develop is still yet to be known. I want you to raise her with love and care, if you can.
Of course. I cried hard holding my dear child. After I left the doctor's office, I went back to my parents' home with Lisa. I could not face going back to my home. I cannot live with a man who wanted to dispose of or abandon his own flesh and blood. I never want to. My parents were surprised to see me come home crying with Lisa, but warmly welcomed us. I told them about Lisa's disability and what Jeff said when we learned it. But I want to raise Lisa no matter what. I also told them that I want to divorce Jeff. The first thing my parents said was they needed to prepare the room and find a child-sized bed for Lisa. They made a fuss and prepared a room for us. That made my heart relax a little, as I was only concerned about Lisa until then. But then, the focus of my anger and rage turned to Jeff. Jeff, let's get a divorce. I don't want to have anything to do with you. I don't want compensation or child maintenance. Just split our savings. That's all I want from you.
I was gonna say the same to you, so thanks for saving my time. I don't want to waste my hard-earned money on her. You can have all the savings instead.
How could you say something like that? No, I only want half of the savings.
You're stubborn.
I don't want to owe you anything. You might use it against me later.
Do you think I'm gonna do that?
Just in case. I want to do everything I can to protect Lisa.
Well, whatever. Alright. You can have half the savings then. Are we gonna file for divorce tomorrow?
I will deliver the papers tomorrow. I need to collect our things, too. I won't bring Lisa with me, of course.
That's a relief. I don't want to see her anyways.
We settled on our divorce, and I packed mine and Lisa's things and moved into my parents' home. We lived as a family of 4, my parents, Lisa, and I. It wasn't an easy ride, but we lived happily together for 15 years. Lisa, who was only 2 when I got divorced, turned 17 now. Although she is not eloquent, she can communicate well enough and express what she wants to say. Most surprisingly, her hidden talent started to shine during the past 15 years. Lisa, are you still at it?
Yeah.
You need to have a break and have lunch.
Nope.
You must. If I leave you alone, you will not stop. Although her dissatisfaction clearly showed, she put her brush down and stretched her arms. Beautiful. What's this?
Rain.
Is it? Oh, this is a frog, isn't it? How pretty. Lisa has a talent for watercolor paintings. This talent was discovered by her art teacher when she was in elementary school. As Lisa really liked painting, she started to take art lessons, and her talent blossomed. The art teacher recommended her to enter a competition, and she won first prize. Since then, every time she entered a competition, she won something. She even has a few fans of her art and holds her own exhibitions. Naturally, it brought in a fair amount of money for her. I kept the money for Lisa to buy materials for her paintings and for rainy days. That was the time, after 15 years of absence, Jeff contacted me.
It's been a while. How are you? How's Lisa?
Huh? Jeff? What do you want from us after all these years?
I just wondered how you were.
After all these years?
Are you doing alright?
I never forgot you asked the doctor to dispose of her. I'll remember those words for as long as I live.
I'm sorry about that. I didn't know what to do.
You didn't know what to do. No matter what you say, wanting her disposed of is unforgivable. What do you want? Spit it out!
Money.
Huh?
Lisa's now a famous artist, right? I don't know anything about art, but I heard she's famous. I owe some money, and I'm struggling a bit.
He cut Lisa off. He wanted her disposed of. But when he has no money, he thinks he can turn to her. There is no way I can forgive such a scumbag of a man. Troublebuster! What in the world? You wanted to get rid of her, but when you are in trouble, you think you can use her? Are you an idiot or what? Don't make me laugh.
It's not a joke!
It is a joke. I can't stop laughing.
Are you gonna help me or what?
Nope.
You're evil!
I'm not the one who is evil. It's you who are evil.
Demon!
I'm not. You are such a child. Can talk a little smarter?
Gold digger!
No way. What? I am a gold digger?
Yes, you are. You're throwing out the money Lisa's making.
No, I'm not. We live on the money I earn, not Lisa. I'm saving what Lisa earns to buy things she needs for her paintings and for rainy days. She has disabilities, so after my parents and I pass away, she will need all the money she can get. That's why I'm saving her money.
Can you spare a little bit of that money for me?
What the? Why are you in debt anyways?
Hostess Club.
Disgusting. What kind of person are you? Ugh, gross. What a scumbag. Never, ever contact me again. I said everything I wanted to say and blocked and deleted him from my message app. Lisa must have noticed that I was upset. She quickly drew a bouquet of flowers with colored pencils and gave it to me. Although she did it quickly, it was so very beautiful. I thought it deserved to be framed and put up somewhere in the house. After the exchange, Jeff turned up at the art class she thought she was holding her exhibition and tried to speak to Lisa. However, For Lisa, a strange middle-aged man coming up and begging her for money was a scary experience. She panicked and threw everything she could get a hold of, like brushes, tubes of paint, and water, etc. Eventually, Jeff was dragged away by the police. After this incident, I wondered if she might be traumatized and not want to go outside the house. However, she developed a new interest in her art, which is to work in coloring 3D objects. So, her artistic range was broadened, so at least something positive came from that horrendous incident. Trouble Busters!
I'm Heather, and this is my husband Aaron. After trying for a baby for 3 years since we got married, I finally got pregnant. My husband usually drives me to the hospital for prenatal checkups, but he wasn't feeling well that day, so I decided to go by train. The train was not too crowded, so I was able to sit in one of the priority seats. Because it was going to be a long ride, I closed my eyes, trying to get some rest. There was a noticeable maternity sticker on my bag. When the train arrived at the next station, an old man got on. He walked up to me right away and started yelling.
Hey, fatty! What are you doing sitting in the priority seat? You're young! Get up! Get the fuck up now, fatty!
What are you yelling at me for? You think I'm an easy target for you?
How can a young person like you sit in the priority seat? Let the elderly have the seat!
I'm pregnant. Please don't make me get up. I have a maternity sticker right here in case you didn't notice.
Nonsense! I've never seen such a thing before! You're pregnant! Cut the bull! Pregnant women have bigger bellies!
Do you think pregnant bellies inflate instantly like balloons? It gets bigger as the baby grows.
You just want to sit, don't you? Because you're so fat! It's all just fat in your belly!
Don't do that! It really hurts! Stop hitting me! Do you have any idea how serious it can be if you hurt the baby?
Why are you panicking now? Are you afraid to let people know that you were lying?
I just don't want anything to happen to my baby. Plus, there are plenty of empty seats you can use. Why do you keep picking on me?
Shut it! I don't need a woman telling me what to do! Shame on you for thinking that you deserve special treatments just because you're pregnant!
You scum!
Scum?
The fight was getting escalated, so a couple standing nearby came between us. They escorted me to the next car, away from the ranting old man. Are you okay? Did you get hurt? I'm okay, thank you.
We should have interfered earlier, but we didn't have the courage. We're sorry.
Here, my boyfriend recorded the whole thing. You can give this video to the police as evidence. We can also go with you as witnesses anytime you want. Thank you for helping me out. I really appreciate it.
That old man was indeed outrageous.
He needs to be held responsible if anything happens to your baby. After exchanging our numbers, the couple stayed with me till I got off at my station. Luckily, the test results showed that there was nothing wrong with the baby. When I got home, I told my husband about the incident and showed him the video. He got so furious that he was determined to confront the old man. However, I was reluctant to go to the police. It seemed unlikely that the old man would get arrested for just hitting me in the stomach. I also didn't want to put extra stress on myself by thinking about it too much, especially since it was already too exhausting being pregnant. So I hesitated. Some days later, my husband messaged me during a dinner he was having with his business partners.
Heather, good news! I found the old man. He's right here at this restaurant where I'm having a business dinner. He's the sushi chef here.
Are you serious?
This is quite a famous sushi restaurant, too. You said the old man got onto the train at City Station, right? It's right next to this restaurant. He looks and sounds exactly the same as in the video you showed me.
I need to see him in person to make sure. But you're at a sushi restaurant. I shouldn't eat raw fish during pregnancy.
No, you're right.
Let him go for now. I'll take vengeance on him after the baby is born safely. Just thinking about his face makes me angry. Yes, we're gonna make him regret what he did.
Vengeance sounds a little intense, though.
Oh, does it? A few months later, I gave birth to a healthy baby and returned to work. I can finally get back at the man for what he did to me. It's payback time. Trouble Buster! We went to the restaurant with a couple from the train. My husband's boss was a regular at the restaurant. After learning about what happened, he booked out the entire restaurant for us so we could confront the old man without disturbing other guests. I wondered how much he had spent to reserve the restaurant, but neither him nor my husband would tell me. Anyway, the sushi chef across the counter was indeed the old man from the train. He greeted us with a big smile, and he seemed to have forgotten about me.
Welcome! Thank you for reserving our restaurant today. Oh, my employee and his wife just had a baby, so we are having a celebration today. You are very beautiful, madam. I'm Kent, the sushi chef. Glad to meet you.
Likewise, but this isn't the first time we've met.
Oh, where have we met?
On the train a few months back. Didn't you punch me in the stomach? You kept on hitting me, remember?
What?
Are you serious? Should I refresh your memory? You yelled, "Shut it! I don't need a woman telling me what to do." And then you said something like, "Shame on you for thinking you're special just because you're pregnant." Remember?
You're that lady from...
You remember me now? My stomach is smaller now, right? It's not because of diet, but because I gave birth. A baby was inside my belly when you hit me.
Chef? Is that true? No! That's not true! Can we talk about it at a different time, madam? Your husband's boss has reserved our restaurant for tonight! It's fine with me. I think it's better to talk now. In fact, I booked out the restaurant in order for them to talk it out with you. So, chef, why did you do such a thing? I didn't! There must be a misunderstanding!
Misunderstanding? Really? Uh-oh, my hand just slipped and pressed play! I pressed the play button on my phone. The old man's yelling, the sound of him hitting me, as well as my screaming from the video started to echo in the restaurant. The old man's face turned blue immediately. That was you, right? Do you remember now? You punched me right in the stomach.
So what? You shouldn't have taken the train when you were pregnant! You even sat in the priority seat! You can't fool me! What are you talking about? I won't let you off until you apologize! Why do I have to apologize to this bitch? The child of an irritating mom would be irritating too! It shouldn't have been born!
How can you say that?
Well, chef, did I tell you about how sad I was when my wife and I lost our child due to miscarriage? I like this restaurant, but you're such a disappointment. I'll never come again. I'll also let people whom I took to this restaurant know about it. No! Wait a minute! Please don't do that! I'll make sure to prioritize your reservations in the future! It's a shame, really. I've been a regular customer for years. The clients and employees I've brought to this restaurant all loved the food. I'm terribly sorry about what happened! Today's cost will be fully refunded to you, so please! If you have the time to apologize to me, why don't you apologize to Heather first? If I was her husband, I would have already beaten you to the ground. Right? Yes, that's right. Here's a free lobster for you, sir! Do you think you can forgive me? You can wear it home! Do I look like Lady Gaga to you? What kind of person would hit a pregnant woman? It's absolutely unacceptable. I'll tell everyone how awful you are. No, wait! I'm so sorry for what happened! I'll never do that again! I overslept that morning. I was late to the seafood market, so I got irritated!
That doesn't matter. Your circumstances don't matter. You can't just find someone who's weaker than you and vent all your anger on them. It's the worst. You are really not sorry, are you? You apologized only because my husband's boss is one of your regular guests. Never do that again to anyone, ever. Then we left the restaurant. High-end restaurants like this one normally have a lot of important guests, so a bad reputation would be fatal. After the story got spread by my husband's boss, the restaurant started to lose guests. When I walked past the restaurant the other day, it was closed down. According to my husband's boss, since many of the guests who went there have children, obviously they couldn't tolerate the behavior of the old man. As our daughter grew up healthily, the bond between me and my husband also became stronger. Recently, we've been thinking about giving our daughter a little brother or a little sister. The couple who helped me also got married, and the wife got pregnant shortly after. To return the favor, we decided to do our best to support them by giving them maternity goods and offering various advice during her pregnancy. My life is happy thanks to the good people around me. Trouble Buster!